Middlesex Board of Supervisors ratified a declaration of emergency issued by the county's Director of Emergency Management and adopted an ordinance to ensure continuity of county government. A copy of this ordinance can be found on the county's website under Board of Supervisors Ordinances number 81. These procedures include the ability for the Board of Supervisors and other county public entities to conduct electronic meetings. Information on how to access these meetings by video and telephone will be posted on the county website. The provisions of the ordinance and electronic meetings is in effect for a period of 6 months unless amended, rescinded, or readopted by the Board of Supervisors. An audio recording is being made of the meeting, which will be linked from the county's website. Notice of the meetings along with access information has been posted on the county's website and at the front of the historic courthouse. An electronic meeting link was also sent to those persons that have asked to be part of the board's agenda list. As each person joins the meeting, the public audio will be muted to avoid background noise, and the board and staff audio will be open. If a meeting calls for public comment, the chairman will announce that the meeting is open for comments and public lines will be unmuted. Those with an audio connection should use *9, which will notify the moderator that you wish to comment. To unmute your own phone, you should use *6. Those with video capability are to use the raise hand feature to be recognized by the chair. Each person will be given 3 minutes to speak, and each speaker must identify themselves when speaking. All votes will be by roll call and recorded in the minutes. Board members who leave the meeting or arrive must verbally note their attendance. If all board members are not joined by video, a roll call will be made every 2 hours to confirm a quorum.
All right, all board members, are there any questions about this process? If not, essential business of board is being done. Purpose of this meeting is for our night business, our night meeting. All right, at this time, roll call.
Mr. Koontz.
Here.
Mr. Mansfield.
Here.
Mr. Williams.
Yeah.
Mr. Kimbrough.
Here.
And Mr. Jesse.
Here. All right, we have
All
staff
members are present.
a quorum at this time. All right, first will be a public hearing on wetland ordinance. Ms. Heather Lewis, I'm gonna leave it over to you at this time.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me pull up share my screen so I can pull this up. So tonight we have 2 ordinances for the board's, to have a public hearing on in the board's consideration. The first one is the wetlands ordinance. Staff brought this to my attention and asked me to incorporate the new legislative updates. As you know, Richmond was really busy this year, so I suspect we'll have quite a few more of these, but in different subject matters, but this one is on the wetlands. There were legislative changes that went into effect on July 1, and I have revised the ordinance to reflect those changes. I'm going to just go through them rather quickly here so you can see them. Oh, my apologies. Hold on. This is my first time sharing screens, so I went too far. The majority of the updates have to do with the living shore requirement and the definitions that are defined by the statute. So you can see under section 3, they've added subsection L, and I took this language directly from the code. As the statute requires me to do so, but it now requires the construction of living shore projects. They have to be authorized to a general permit pursuant to 28.2-104.1. Section 4, you now have to include with your permit, if you cannot follow the living shore requirements, you have to explain why. Again, these are all, and then you'll see in section 6, I made a few typographical changes based on the current code. We hadn't done this in a couple of years. These are very minor. Literally now the code, instead of spelling out 60, has the numerical 60. You see the same for 20 there. Section 7A, I simply streamlined that because we have a 5-member board. Section C is again typographical. Section 9 is the new legislative update. And again, this is from the code. And it says that, there's going to be standards set out having to do with the shorelines and sensitive coastal habitats from sea level rise. And we have to follow those standards that are going to be outlined in 28.2-1301. And again, you can see here, these are typographical. I removed section 14 because we're not repealing, we're amending. And so then that changed your numbering, and this is effective on the date of adoption. And then there should also be a copy, here it is, of the code section, so that if anyone from the public or the board had any questions, you can see I took it verbatim. So rather short and sweet, Mr. Chairman. These are, there weren't that many updates, but they were ones that needed to be done. So that concludes my presentation.
Okay, thank you for that, Heather, at this time. All right, what I'm gonna do, I'm gonna open up the public hearing on that, and then we can come back with comments from the board. At this time, I'd like to open the public comment hearing on this, but what I'm gonna read the electronic procedure. The chairman will invite each an additional person other than the board members and staff attending the meeting to make a comment. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use their raise hand feature to request to speak. Those used with audio only capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will give his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker and individual will be given the opportunity to speak during the public comment period and/or public hearing item. All comments and remarks will be addressed to the board, and all comments and remarks will be addressed to the board supervisors, not the audience. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. And also, this public hearing is just on the wetland ordinance right now. All right, Kevin, you got anybody up that want to speak?
Mr. Chairman, there is only one member of the public in the audience, and they are not indicating that they would like to speak.
All right, at this time, I'd like to close the public hearing on the wetland ordinance and open it up to the board at this time. Does the board, any board members have any questions on this ordinance, wetland ordinance, some of the changes and corrections?
I don't think that, I think we're just conforming to the changes that are mandatory by the state, right?
Right.
Yeah, I don't have anything.
All right, well, if you don't, do anyone have a motion to approve?
I'm ready to make a motion that we approve it as written.
All right, we got a motion by Pete. Is that second by John?
Yep.
Okay, I'm just making sure. I didn't see you at first. Second by John. It's been motioned and properly second. Any more discussion? All in favor of that motion, roll call.
Mr. Kentz,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. All right, so carried. Next, Heather, courthouse security fee assessment ordinance.
Yes, sir. This one's going to be probably even shorter than my last presentation. So this is another legislative update, and I greatly appreciate, I had General District Clerk reach out. And let me pull it up here. So this is legislation change. You're allowed to charge pursuant to 53.1-120. When there's a traffic or criminal case in Middlesex County General District or Circuit Court, as part of your court fees, you now charge $20 instead of $10. It's an increase. And this money is used to offset the costs for courthouse security. So I revised, you can see here, here's the ordinance. I removed, well, that just was not necessary, but you can see where I crossed out $10 and put 20. And it is effective July 1. The clerk did advise me that it's her understanding she has to send it to, I guess, the Virginia Supreme Court Clerk's office, and they check a box, approve it. But once she receives it, it should go into effect. I've asked it to go back to July 1, and the clerk says she'll look into that. But that concludes my presentation.
All right, thank you, Heather. All right, at this time, I'm going to open up the public hearing on the courthouse security fee assessment ordinance. Again, I'll go through the electronic procedures. Again, the chairman will invite each an additional person other than the board members and staff attending the meeting to make a comment. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Those with audio only capability will use the *9 feature on the phone, which will indicate to the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will give his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker or individual will be given an opportunity to speak during the public comment period or each public hearing item. All comments or remarks will be addressed to the Board of Supervisors and not the audience. And speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. And this is on the public hearing of the courthouse security feature assessment ordinance. At this time, Kevin, do you have anybody that wish to speak?
Mr. Chairman, there is no one that would like to speak at this time.
All right, or like to close the public hearing on the courthouse security assessment fee and open it to the board. Do we have a motion to approve?
So moved.
Second.
All right, we got a motion by Leg Kimball, second by John Kuntz. And we have a motion with proper second. Any more discussion? All in favor of that motion? Roll call.
Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. All right, motion so carried. Line item is public comment. Again, I'll go over this again. Sound like a broken record, but we got to do it for the record. The chairman will invite each additional person other than board members and staff attending to the meeting to make a comment. Those attending the meeting with video capability will use the raise hand feature to request to speak. Those with audio only capability will use the *9 feature on their phone, which will indicate to the moderator that you wish to speak. Use *6 to unmute your phone. Each speaker will be given his or her name and address for the record. Each speaker or individual will be given the opportunity to speak during the public comment period or the public hearing item. All comments and or remarks will be addressed to the Board of Supervisors, not to the audience. Speakers will be given 3 minutes to speak. Kevin, do we have anyone that would like to address the board at this time?
Chairman, not at this time.
Not this time? All right, we will close our public comment period. And then I'm just going, before we adjourn, I'm just going to announce that Tuesday, September the 1st, 2020 at 3 p.m. will be our regular meeting. At this time, do we have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
We have a motion by John. Do we have a second?
Second.
We have a motion by John, second by Pete Mansfield. Roll call.
It's Mr. Coons,
Aye.
Mr. Mansfield,
Aye.
Mr. Williams,
Aye.
Mr. Kimbrough,
Aye.
Mr. Jesse.
Aye. All right. Meeting adjourned.